Constitution. I'm not saying there are any problems with it, but here's the big, there's no cutoffs. There's nothing that says, well, anything above 63% is no-no, and anything below 37% is also a no-no, so you have this range to work in. 5 and 6 are kind of up for interpretation. So it's very, very, and it's going to be the Supreme Court that's ultimately going to make that decision, and depending on your partisanship, I will tell you right now, the Supreme Court leans more to the other side of where Representative Workman
Which is why we want to get it right the first time.
So to let you know, to be 100% honest, that's where it's going.
That's why we're trying to get it right the first time. Yes, sir.
The challenge it went up with the lawsuit. You mentioned someone said, "What's that going to cost taxpayers?"
No idea.
No idea what that's going to cost.
How much? What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
Billions?
No. It's we got the number. It was
Who doesn't know? Who is the
tens of
person?
thousands.
I'm sure
It's still
spent
going.
$700,000.
Tens of I don't know. That was the estimated cost if it went to 4 or 5 different levels. And I can get it's public record. We'll be more than willing to find out for you tomorrow just how much we spent to date. That $700,000 that you heard was if it went X, Y, Z, and we haven't gotten anywhere near that far.
I think the taxpayers deserve to know that.
Well, in all fairness, I know this is when you would want to see sued, but government sues government every day. They do that to make sure things are right. And it's done on every level. This city has probably sued this county, and this city has probably joined a lawsuit to sue this state many times, probably in the last couple of years. It happens at all levels of government when somebody thinks something went wrong. In this case, it's one that you don't want to see sued on, but it's the way we get things right. And listen, the good news is, if that lawsuit fails, then we know exactly where we stand. But this is notice that 5 is not being challenged. The state is not challenging 5. It's Corinne Brown challenges on a federal level whether or not how we draw congressional seats is unconstitutional to the federal Constitution. It's a different lawsuit. It has merit. They're gonna pursue it, win or lose. But it happens every day. So I know this one isn't one you like, but you probably like some other ones. Like we've stuck some mandates on Satellite Beach, and they said, "Hell no, we won't go. They've sued us." I mean, I'm picking on Satellite Beach. I mean, I'm sure you have, Mayor. I'm guessing though. You at least joined in one at some point or another. Probably on 360, as a matter of fact. It happens, and that's the way you unshackle or you figure out wrongs and right them. So it's one of them.
Just a quick question, Senator Harry-Dopoulos in Alton. Now, how does the Senate feel? Because I know I watched Senator Harry-Dopoulos on Focal Point, Flashpoint on Channel 6. He was very vague about it. Are they going to challenge with the lawsuit? Are they?
No, they've chosen not to join the lawsuit. It's only the Florida House.
It's just the House.
And Corinne Brown's office. All right.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Instead of Corinne Brown spending all this money to challenge a lawsuit, can they use that money to create some jobs for the state of Florida instead?
That's right.
These are, go to the next slide.
Yeah.
These are our cards. I just cut them in half. Gave half to John, half to me. We're going to try not to repeat because, good Lord, y'all have some questions. Or maybe some statements. There's probably a couple statements.
And one more time. My office is up there. Rich's is up there. Take a picture of that one, okay? And then call us to get the full power. We will not change it. In fact, we have the internet right now, obviously, right? So we can email it to your house before you leave today, or wherever the internet goes. So I want to make sure everyone has access to this PowerPoint, and so just those pictures don't come out. So that being said,
all right, I'll go first then. I think it's Vicky, maybe. Luke, I don't know. Why don't you introduce common sense legislation that expands access to birth control and teaches medically accurate sex education? These efforts would prevent unwanted pregnancy, the need for abortion, and the number of families dependent on, I think, government services. Entitlement services, good word actually. Because remember, you asked a direct question that deals with my personal beliefs, and in my case, I don't want public school teaching my kid sex ed.
I'm talking about
Your personal belief.
adult
That's
women.
your personal
And
belief.
we are a representative democracy, and
Yeah, I didn't vote for
sadly for you, exactly, but 62% of everybody else did, and therefore they bought into my particular value system, and I
Yes,
would
but
not.
Would you rather find a young girl with a coat hanger trying to perform an abortion by herself?
I would. We're not going to open this to debate. If that's a question, put it in a car. We're going to keep it civil. We have a lot of these, and
I'm specifically referring to crisis pregnancy centers, who we do fund with taxpayer money, who disseminate false and inaccurate medical information about birth control. Why are we, as taxpayers, funding something like that? Why don't we fund medically accurate information to grown women?
I think what they give is medically accurate information.
They do not.
Well, in my opinion, they do. In my opinion, any advice about abortion that doesn't stop short of calling it murder is
There's been a
incorrect.
congressional investigation by Congressman Waxman in 2006, and his findings were crisis pregnancy centers were disseminating inaccurate, false information.
Is he partisan? I hope that he's a
Congressional
Democrat.
investigation.
He's a Democrat.
But I'm sure we can do the same thing on the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
But that was my opinion.
That's not a dirty word, by the way, Representative.
I'm highly partisan. So no. It's
No,
a
but
very.
I'm insulted whenever you make a snide comment about they're a Democrat.
I'm a Republican. I'm
Well,
very
and
proud of
nobody
my
has
party.
insulted you for being a Republican, so I take offense to that.
I'm sorry to take offense. Okay.
Let's go to the next question.
Now that you both have a few sessions, and there's no name on this one, sessions under your belt, how do you describe the state of our property insurance system? Are you ever going to create a solution that encourages insurance companies to do business here? My thought being, the most competition, the better pricing for all. I think competition's certainly always positive, and I think I'd like to, go back on what we touched on very briefly, is the 800-pound gorilla, that being citizens. It is financially problematic, and if you pay insurance premiums with any other carrier, you're going to see part of your premiums on top of that go into citizens. So what we need to do is, first of all, make citizens the insurer of last resort. Okay, right now it's the first choice. Okay, so we first of all need to get the people that otherwise could get insurance elsewhere off of citizens, thus opening up the market a little bit. And then we need to, this doesn't sound nice, especially where we're located here on the beach, but the reality of the situation is not fair for taxpayers here as well as across the state to be on the hook if a hurricane would be to come through. So we ultimately have to shut down citizens. And as soon as citizens is shut down, you are going to see that the marketplace will expand. People will write insurance premiums in the state of Florida. What will there be? The market will determine that. And you will make a decision as a property owner whether or not to A, pay that, B, self-insure, C, move. The reality of the situation is that competition is generally what works, and if you don't like it, you like the government system. And I happen to be not a firm believer in putting taxpayers on the hook for your insurance.
So is State Farm just not making enough money? Is that why was it a matter of enough money?
I hope State Farm, I own mutual funds. I have no problem. I don't think profit is a bad word. I am strongly in favor of profit.
They pulled out and stopped writing.
They pulled out because Citizens was writing more. And Citizens could write it below market value. Why could Citizens write it? Because you guys are on the hook. So as soon as we take Citizens out,
Why were we dropped by State Farm?
That's what he said.
We didn't choose Citizens.
No,
State
it's
Farm
not.
dropped
Unfortunately,
us.
that was changed, and unfortunately, Citizens is not the last resort. It's a competitive, government-funded, government-run enterprise that is no longer the.
Are we supposed to go get 3 bids and be declined if it's higher, or be declined access to insurance, then we go into Citizens?
No, you can choose Citizens straight up.
Okay, I have been a Citizens holder since, do you remember JUA?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's how long I've been in. So what you're telling me now is that's 03,
Yes.
04?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I've been kicked out, brought back in, kicked out, okay, back and forth. And one of the things that they did a couple of years ago, which I have spoken to the Citizens people that I thought was great, and I've gone to meetings when they've had them, is they allowed you to start bundling your homeowners and your wind, okay, which I thought was great, because I had 3 different insurance companies. So what I'm hearing now is, I need to start looking for another insurance company, because Citizens is not gonna be there going forward in the future. Is that what you're telling me?
No. Now, it would be my druthers that one day Citizens would go away, but currently, the only thing that could possibly happen for the next several years is that you may see up to a 10% increase per year in your premium.
I've had an increase just this year.
10%, right?
I did have an increase, I spoke to them, and, I do understand for the last few years, we did not have any increases, and I understand that, okay? I would suggest to people who don't have a mortgage, self-insure yourself. I know lots of people that are doing that, and I'm sorry, I'm not in that position to do that. If I was, I'd say, forget it. I'll just take this money every month and put it aside, and if something happens,
Insurance is a very hot item. I'm going to say a couple things here, one that's going to be upsetting and one that hopefully will shed some light. First, I will say that homeowners insurance is not a right. It is not supposed to be mandated by the state. It's not supposed to be guaranteed low rates. One of the problems when the country, or in our case the state, gets into socialized business is that it becomes a campaign promise. And what happened long before I got into this, for the past 10 years, every person that ran for office said, insurance rates are too high. When I get elected, I'm going to lower your insurance rates. And there's only one way they can do that. Artificially deflate the cost of Citizens insurance. Now here's what that does to you. If you're not on Citizens, this should upset you. If you do not have Citizens insurance, when Citizens goes defunct, which it will if we don't get it actuarially sound, it is a fact. You think you're mad now because you're paying 10% more a year? Wait until there's no money to fix your house after a storm or a fire. Now let me tell you, when that happens, because it is a socialized business and the government controls it, we have the right to assess all of your other insurance. You got auto insurance? We assess that. Life insurance? We assess that. The only thing we can't assess is your health insurance. Beyond that, I can assess everything you've got in order to make our socialized business actuarially sound. If you're mad now because of a 10% increase, imagine how mad you will be when you have an assessment on a policy you didn't have. Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, wait. Let me go to you second because I promised this guy nodded at him. Yes, sir.
I just want to make one comment on Citizens, and I want to move to another part of the question on insurance. Matt Reed wrote a column, and he contradicts everything you said about Citizens.
Yes.
They are well-financed, they have money, and they can pay. So your thought of getting it out of here is not going to happen. Number 2, why do you people allow insurance companies to set the premiums, basically writing the law, so that they can increase their premium 15% a year?
Wait, I'm going to tackle the first one because I've already tackled it twice, okay? And I'll go over this one more time for you. They have $5 billion in the bank.
And me, by the way.
Okay, but you didn't understand it, obviously. And they have $400 billion of liabilities. We wouldn't do it for any private insurance company out there. We would kick them out of the state. So that goes. They are not solvent. They are not solvent. They are not actuarially sound.
Frank.
So Matt Reed is lying.
Frank.
Representative Workman, I love your passion, and I even love Representative Tobia's passion about how wrong it is for Citizens not to be actuarially sound. In other words, you guys are telling us with conviction, deep conviction, that Citizens is wrong, yet somehow it's alive on the books with you guys in charge.
Right.
How could that possibly be?
As Bill Posey once said, it's not the house of Posey or the house of Workman, it's the House of Representatives. And I think you can tell by many voters in the room, there is no current appetite to defund or deregulate or take away Citizens. That's sad to me. However, I will tell you this.